Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air with LoveTalk.
Gregory, thank you so much for your very educational program.
Thank you for watching.
I just have a question regarding to what you were saying today, which is it's just like coming home with me.
Yeah.
Is that I was born in Iran in a very difficult family environment, and very both financially and also a dysfunctional family.
Yes.
Iran. And then by the time I grew up, I became an adult. Then had to go through the revolution and the problems of the country, and then finally getting out and running away from the country, and then going through all this immigration and all the things, that the new jobs, the new environment, everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
The question for you is that all my life I've been in a survival mode.
Yes.
I've always been just trying to survive as far as my mind is concerned. I have been disconnected from my true feelings, from let's say the love and attention of life in total. At any instance.
Yes.
And it's just even dealing with my children and my family, I've always been telling them how to survive. In other words, that's all I know.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to connect with them, try to love life and live life the way I should, because I've always been in a survival mode. And a person that has always been in a survival status and disconnected from true self, how can I fix it? How can I bring myself back to life? How can I bring myself to happiness with and feel my true self and feel the feelings of my family and my children? How can I do that? How can I, come from this survival mode? How can I come to a living mode?
It's brilliant. I am so glad that you've made this call and that you're asking that question. The good news is the fact that you would even tune into this show at this time, at this moment, and make this call proves that, is evidence that you are now in the process of doing that. All enlightenment, all expanded awareness begins with awareness. You just became aware of this issue, this problem, this limitation, this way of living that has been constraining and limited, if you will. And now something in you that has always been connected to truth, something in you that has always been connected to love, something in you that has always been connected to a deeper purpose and an authentic reason for your life, is now going, okay, wait a minute. What about me? What about the quality of life, the meaning of life? Because you and I both know that there are people that live their entire life in survival mode and never even ask that question that you just asked. You know? They never even get there. And so I assert, just by the very fact that you made this call. And then there's people who might watch this show and turn it off, or there's people who might watch this show and maybe think about it but never make the call. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you're a guy that actually picked up the phone and made the call, so I know from that, and you should know too now, that you are now on the process of taking the first, a trip of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, they say, yes?
That's right.
Yeah, and so let this phone call be the first step on your journey. And the good news is, the really good news is that there is no time lost. All that time that you were spent, all those years that you spent surviving, causing the survival of others, teaching survival to your children, and probably, do you have a business or something?
Yeah, yes,
yeah,
I do.
yeah. I mean, probably the people in your environment where you work or your business or career, you've probably been teaching it to them too, and right?
Yes,
In,
yes,
in
yes.
so
I
so many
have, but
ways.
I've always been more concerned about the survival and the business survival, or let's say other survival mode, rather than listening to them.
Yes.
Their feelings are, what my feelings are. And it looks like the survival has been more important to me than their feelings. I've been hurting people probably around me or even my family just because I've been showing them how to, or telling them how to survive rather than listening to them and understanding their feelings and understanding what they need rather than just telling them how to survive, which is that's all I knew.
Yeah. Well,
Anything else.
let me ask you something. What age are you?
I am 59 years old.
Perfect. Well, that's great. And so that means you probably have either adult children or at least teenagers, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Both.
And they're probably, have they been to college? Are they
Yes, yes, they have. They
right?
have been to college. Yes,
And who put them in college?
Yeah, 3 of them have finished university. Yes.
Yeah. And who did that? Did you do that?
Well, of course I did. But
Yeah. Well, I just want to say something to you. I want you to notice something, that those children who have been to university will touch the lives of thousands and thousands of people before it's over. And so will you. And you have the opportunity now that, I mean, look, sometimes that's what there is to do, is to survive, right? And the way our brains work and our nervous systems work, it's like you can't be concerned about what's for dinner or, making love or something when you're being attacked, right? You can't think of those two things at the same time. Your brain's not structured for that, right? First you deal with the emergency situation, which is survive, 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 and then later you can think about the quality of life. Like, what is the meaning of life? What is it, my unique contribution that I have to make to the world? And for men, very often, that takes 50 or 60 years. Sometimes it takes 50 or 60 years before men, now the kids are not kids anymore. They're adults, and they have their own stuff that they are challenged by. And you have the opportunity to become an elder that is a sage, that is a master of life, that has a deep connection with something that's greater than your own life and greater than the life of your family or your culture or your society. And you actually have the opportunity and the experience now, even though it may seem like, well, wow, I've never even started on this journey yet. You've been on this journey all along, whether you realize it or not. And so that's the good news. There is no lost time.
May I
ask
specifically?
Yeah.
Gregory. You see, the past is past.
Yes.
Whether I regret it or not, the past is past.
Yes.
What I need to know now, of course, I have made the distance between me and many others, including some members of my family, because of all the survival mode all the time. They don't want to hear it. They want to relax and happy, and they want to have a more instant feeling of life rather than old survival mode. And that's past. That's gone. Now, what can I do from now on to bring more happiness to my life, to bring more happiness to others, to be more sensitive to other people's feelings rather than this survival thing?
Yeah.
That's something that I shouldn't be thinking about survival all the time, and I can't. My mind is always in the survival thing. Day and night is thinking about how to make more, how to do something more, and how to do something better, how to not to get into trouble, how to not to lose money or things like that. And it's just difficult. I need a course of action, change of course of action, so that I can stop that and then live my life more happily.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there's definitely practices, and you know all those things that they call spiritual practices or mysticism and all that kind of stuff. Really, all that it comes down to is practicing what works and stop practicing what doesn't work. You've practiced what worked in terms of survival, and you got your job done. Okay? You got that job done. Your kids have survived. They're going to go on to have kids of their own. You got it done. So you can actually, there is a time in our lives as men where it's appropriate to put on our armor, to pick up a sword, and to go out and fight the fight and make sure that our clan, our family, and everybody survives. You have to survive yourself to make sure they survive, and that is a noble and good undertaking. Now, there is a time where you can put down your sword, you can take off your armor, and the only problem is you haven't practiced being happy. You haven't practiced taking simple joys, the simple joy of conversation with another person, another man or woman or a child. I've had to take this on myself, in many ways. Sometimes you have to take your shoes off and go out and walk on the grass in your bare feet and just enjoy that, And you might feel ridiculous to somebody who's been so busy, with their armor on, but sometimes you have to just take it all down to, just my connection with earth, my connection with God, my connection with my own inner self, and go sit with a child and get interested in what they're interested in. Sit with a woman and listen to her, hear what she's concerned about, and be willing to do what it takes to find yourself in the conversation. Because where we find ourselves is in relationships with other human beings of all different genders and species and ages and types. That's been my experience. If you've limited your experience to, there's only a certain kind of people, and that's the kind of people who are most likely to help me survive in my business or so forth, is that your case?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. So, great. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I got this. And, go find yourself some other people to relate to. Now, how do you do that? I don't know. Do you do that? Do you go to the gym? Do you go to a meditation retreat? Do you got to look and see what works for you. Me, I like playing music, so I play guitar with some guys. I like riding motorcycles, so I have some friends that like that too. One of the things I like about motorcycles, riding my motorcycle, is I like to take long trips, and during those trips, my mind empties out, and I listen to music. I have music on the thing, and I'm just there, and I'm watching the world go by, and I'm in balance, and I feel a connection with all that it is. So it's not just riding motorcycles for me; it's a meditation, and it's a way of communicating not only with nature and all that, but communing with the guys that I ride with and stuff. So find what fits for you. Are there certain things that you have interests in? Do you like sports? Do you like theater? Do you like movies? What kind of things do you like that you would consider pleasurable stuff that you like to do?
I like sports. I also like music. I like traveling.
Traveling? I've got a buddy that he likes fishing. I don't know. I don't get into it. I go stand there. It's like, okay, a fish comes, a fish doesn't come. I could care less, right? But he gets all excited about fishing,
Think about all of this is just I've lost the best moments with my children. That's the only thing that the day that I had to go and play baseball with them or go swimming, fishing together, lost all those days with them, and because I've always been telling them what to do or telling myself what to do, and I guess I shouldn't regret that, and I should start all over. And I guess the meditation sport is the best way to go. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, and there's you know, when we speak of meditation, I want to say that there's a lot of levels of meditation, and there's what would call maybe formal meditation, where you actually sit down, maybe concentrate on an object or a candle or a word or a sound. You know, in other words, the idea of concentrating on one thing is that if you could put all of the thoughts out of your mind except one, then it's easy to put that one away as well afterwards. And then have your mind just be empty, open, and clear, so that you're receptive, which is a very feminine aspect of humanity. Receptivity is the feminine side of us. Men and women both have femininity, and men and women both have masculinity. Masculinity is the part of you that goes out and fights the war and conquers and wins and succeeds every time. And you've been very successful at that. Congratulations. Right?
Thank you.
Now it's time to receive your reward, yes, and to allow yourself the pleasure of life that you have earned. You fought for it, you earned it, you've earned it not only for yourself but for others who are enjoying a fruitful life because of your efforts. And so you deserve to allow yourself pleasure. And here's the thing. You know exactly what to do when things are tough, right?
Right.
When things are challenging and tough, man, call you, because you know what to do, right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, but when everything's going well and there's nothing to do but enjoy life, you're kind of like lost. You don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, and I always find a different thought, a different thing.
Yeah, you go look for a fight to have so that you know what to do.
Exactly.
Right? You're like Superman. You don't want to be Clark Kent. You want to be Superman. You need an emergency so that you can go fight a battle because you want to be Superman. But, you know, Clark Kent, he never fights any battles. He's always just enjoying life and being Clark Kent. You don't want to be Clark Kent. Nobody does, right?
That's right.
You're looking for a chance to rip off the Clark Kent uniform and go fight bad guys or something. You know, I know men have this. I have this, right? So when you've had a lot of adversity in your life, there's a time when it's time for you, and it would have been great if you could have lived your whole life while fighting your battle, then having a little bit of pleasure and introspection throughout that whole time, so that by now, when you're almost 59 or 60 years old, you would have already developed that muscle, that strength in yourself. You see, now you got to kind of start doing that right away, but don't worry, it'll come naturally to you. And I want to, you're going to think that I'm trying to sell you a workshop. I just want to tell you that the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop, the workshop I do for men, covers an entire spectrum of what it is to the masculine experience, not just the experience of being a man, but an experience of being a warrior, the experience of being a poet. In other words, all the different layers that we have as men, and approaching that level that I referred to earlier, that I call sage, where you become somebody that others look to learn about the deeper meaning of life. You have all of this within you. Don't worry, it's there. Okay? It's all there. All of those battles that you fought in life have taught you lessons that are extremely valuable to others. And now it's time for you to reflect upon what are some of the things that you learned, and have the inner meaning of that come out so that it can be of service to others. Not just, help them pay their bills and teach them how to survive, but teach them how to enjoy life. Show them what it's like to have a meaningful life. And you have all that in you, believe me. So that's part of what we do at the Embrace Growth workshops. The Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop is aimed at that. And so I urge you to find out more about that, just because you will also find one of the great benefits of these workshops is that then the men meet and go through these processes together, and at the end of it, they stay connected. They set up Facebook pages, and they stay connected, and they support each other. So there's a community of men that are graduates of the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery Workshop that hold each other to account, and that have projects together, and that share the processes of what they're going through. So when you're growing, it's good to be surrounded by people who are growing like you are, you know? If you wanted to be a swimmer, you'd get around some swimmers. Or if you wanted to ride bikes, you'd, get around bikers like I do, So, it's good to be surrounded by people who are interested in what you're interested in.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for your advice. I look into that. I appreciate all your help. You've been really great. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Thanks for watching the show. And telling me I'm out of time. So thanks again.